It's important to understand that you're reading statements from people affected by Sefton Council.
Yes, I am.
Call number is 2418.
Yeah, sounds.
Thank you. And your identity?
Constable 6981.
Okay.
You've had everything explained to you while we're here.
That's
Who is
fine.
the company who run this building? Who is the company who run this building?
I'm not here to answer your questions.
Right, okay.
This female police officer appeared to gasp as she never expected a living, breathing man to refuse his cooperation. Police, Marston's bailiffs, council, judiciary. They all appeared to be targeting the Phoenix by the definition of joint enterprise. These 4 police officers came just days after Sefton Council gate-crashed the Phoenix. This video is an update from what the council did when they gate-crashed the Phoenix with police, locksmiths and others besides. You will also hear a conversation between myself and Marston's debt recovery as I highlight how they very stupidly breached data protection laws. Just very briefly with regards to the person that you're looking for, I don't know if I could be of any assistance in any way.
Okay.
Obviously the police came the other day,
Yeah.
3 of you. You said you weren't going to arrest him. You just need to serve him some papers, obviously.
Yeah.
If I see the person, do you want me to give him some advice?
No, I'd like to just tell him that we'll speak to him, if that's alright.
You need to speak to him?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, regarding the paperwork, could you post them under his door?
No, because it's something that I need to give to him physically.
Physically?
Yeah.
Is that how it works with actual serving papers? Yeah. Alright, okay. Yeah. Can I just take your number for reference?
What number?
My telephone number if you want.
No.
Your shoulder number.
You can see it.
Is that 0596?
No, it's 6950.
Thank you.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Do you have a contact number for him?
Yes.
Would you mind providing that? We need to
No.
speak to him.
So they told me that if I did not offer to open the door or open the door for them, they would kick the door in. So I told them that I could not open the door for them. I would be completely in the wrong. Unfortunately for me, a neighbour was listening to what was being said when I told them that if they kick the door in, they will be responsible for the costs.
He's not been back since this morning, though.
I haven't seen him today or yesterday.
Could
In
I
fact,
leave-
I asked his neighbour whether or not he had seen him, and he said he hadn't seen him for a couple of days. But I know he's got a girlfriend. So.
Could I leave you my contact details to give to him?
Yes.
Is that alright? Great, thank you very much.
Have you got a picture of him? Because I haven't lived here that long. I've never seen him.
Who are you, sir? Sorry.
I live here. So I don't know what he looks like. So could you describe him to me?
I've never met him.
Oh, I've never met him. Could you describe him to me?
I don't know him either.
So I could be him.
Well, are you?
So I'm back to normal because of fucking Sefton fucking council coming through my fucking door.
What's your name and number?
Paul.
Number?
1440.
Thank you. I think I got you earlier, didn't you?
So,
Yeah.
Good, mate.
you know, it really is not a major thing. We just want him to
Yeah.
get to the schools just so we can give him some paperwork.
Okay. Well, finally then, could you give me some constructive criticism for the way I acted with you earlier?
I've got no constructive criticism, mate. You were
So I was okay.
within your rights to film.
Did I upset you in any way? Approximately 4 weeks ago, we shared shocking footage of Sefton Council and police all appearing to enter private property unlawfully, the property known as the Phoenix. This is a video update for truth behind what really happened. But first, Gordon is going to tell the viewers briefly what this is really all about, why target this property, and why now.
Well, this isn't just about one day. It's about jurisdiction, control, and people's rights. Today, I walk you through what it's really all about, how it's affected us, and what we're doing in honour and truth about it all.
There was 10, 15 police outside and council workers from Sefton banging on my door and then just walking right the way fucking through my door that I pay Gordon money for and just went in the toilet and the kitchen. Complete intrusion, like the FBI or like the Nazis walk into in the Jews' houses when World War fucking they just walked in. Just absolute disgrace.
This was once a care home that ended honourably. Now it's a private dwelling, held in trust, run by a private, unincorporated association. No contracts, no commercial tenancies, no authority of any outside authorities. It is not a house of multiple occupation, which is what the Sefton Council would like it to be. We stepped out of this system in many ways, and Sefton Council don't like that. I'm recording, okay?
So
Yeah, okay.
We don't need to speak to yourself, sir, so it's absolutely fine.
I'll tell you what, I will
So if he
ask
comes back,
something. Who lives here now, who resides here, do you have a contact number for him?
Yes,
Would you mind providing that? We need to
No.
speak to him.
not without his permission.
okay. I'm sure we might have ourselves, might
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
That's fine. No
I mean, does he not
problem,
know to ring us anyway? Because
The last time I let the police in here for him, the last time...
did you not take his
sir? That's
number?
alright.
with you?
We don't need to be everybody.
No, it's not all right. Just a minute, lady, please.
No, we don't need to speak to you. All we need to do, mate, if you wouldn't mind, is if he comes back, just please let him know that you've been round. As
Yeah,
I
I'd say
say,
ring
we need to
100.
deliver these charges to him in person. We can't
Yeah.
unfortunately hand it to you or to you to pass on.
Oh no, yeah, I get that. It's just if you arrested him last time, I don't see why you didn't.
He's not going to be
He's
arrested.
not under arrest.
He's not going to be arrested.
No, I mean the last time when you kicked the door in and took him. So
I think
that.
this is literally a case of we just need to pass him this piece.
Let me just explain a
It's on
few
behalf
things.
of the
Yeah, yeah.
Am I allowed to
Struggling
speak?
to understand why you didn't do it last time.
Just a
You
minute.
can speak.
Am I
We
allowed
won't
to
take up
speak?
any more of your time.
All right.
Thanks very much, mate.
Okay, ignore everything I've got to say.
They walked through my door, and I was just coming out of hospital. I was in a bad way because I couldn't see my daughter, and I was drinking a lot. I stopped drinking. I was taking tablets. Then they come through my door and done that, and then I've started drinking again because the Sefton Council fucking abused me. And I'm drinking again because of that.
What's your name and where do you come from?
My name is Megan and I came from Zimbabwe. I was born there.
How long ago was it when you came to England?
I think it was about 16 years ago, yeah.
Have you got a job?
Yeah, I work in a restaurant, yeah.
Can you just tell me then briefly about Sefton Council's visit to this property? How did that make you feel?
How it made me feel was quite uncomfortable, to be honest with you, because this place is a very nice place. Gordon treats us very well. He looks out for us as well. And when they came in, it was quite shocking because I was just thinking, why did they bring police? And it was quite uncomfortable as well because the way I was dressed was very inappropriate as well. I had just come out of the shower and they just stood there asking me questions about entering my property and I felt very uncomfortable. I was very unaware of what to do, if that makes sense, because I didn't really know what they were there for, if that makes sense.
This is about councils fishing for contracts and data to trap people in presumed agreements. We've claimed our status here. They can't enforce anything without our consent. So they trespass, pretending authority, but in reality, Sefton Council have none.
Well then, what did Sefton Council do in respect of the invasion of the Phoenix?
Well, what they did to the residents of the Phoenix, they collectively abused every one of us. They entered private rooms uninvited, without warrant, consent, or emergency jurisdiction, without prior notice. They demanded sensitive personal data, including national insurance numbers, dates of birth, identity details, without contract or authority. They spoke with assumed authority, backed by very large police force presences, causing confusion and fear.
The whole experience, it just made me feel like I couldn't trust even the people that call themselves the government, the council, people who so-called see themselves as above us. Because in my eyes, I see them as they get away with things. Like if it was any ordinary person that worked in the garage, in Tesco, anywhere, they would get fired. But they consistently keep getting away with things like this and someone has to put a stop to it because average people like me, we can't just simply just stand up to them, but I'm happy that you guys are standing up to them because what they're doing is wrong.
They ignored 3 trespass notices at both entrances to the private trust grounds. Oh, and by the way, each individual that came on the premises that day owes the estate £10,000 each.
How would you describe this place?
This is like a sanctuary. It's a place which I've called an unincorporated association governed by its constitution. Everyone who lives here is a member of our little club, and we hope to protect and support each other in a small community free from outside intervention.
They didn't came to my room. They intruded me. They come into my space. I've been in hospital. I'm disabled. I've got one arm. I've just got out of hospital. It was like intrusion. Absolute disgusting. Knocked me up, because these tablets knock you to sleep. And I was out of it. And it's like when someone goes, when you go to sleep and someone's banging on your bleeding brain. I thought it was a dream. It fucking wasn't. There was 10, 15 police outside and council workers from Sefton banging on my door and then just walking right the way fucking through my door that I pay Gordon money for and just went in the toilet and the kitchen. Complete intrusion, like the FBI or like the Nazis walk into in the Jews' houses when World War fucking they just walked in. Just absolute disgrace.
Yes, you want to speak to?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Aaron is in or not.
Okay.
This is private property.
Yeah. I need to speak to him about something, but that concerns him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know whether he's in or not.
Right. Okay. That's fine.
I'm afraid I can't help you.
That's fine.
If you would like me to pass on a message to him.
Yeah. Just if you see him, just say the police need to speak to him.
Sorry.
If you see him, just say the police need to speak to him.
Sorry, I'm hard of hearing.
If you see him, can you just tell him the police need to speak to him?
The police would like to speak
Yeah,
to him.
if that's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I tell him what it's about?
No, because I need to discuss that with him. Okay.
Well, it was stated yesterday by 3 police who came here yesterday.
Right.
And I tried to talk to them, but they ended up walking off.
Right.
Without listening to what I had to say.
Okay.
So you're not doing that, I'm pleased to say. Okay.
Right.
So I believe from what they said that they want to serve him some papers.
Yeah.
So are you now, as a police officer, serving papers?
Yeah, I need. Well, it's something I need to discuss with him because he's a grown adult. So I discuss the matters doesn't really concern you. It concerns him.
Okay.
So I can't discuss with you what I need to discuss with him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's none of my business what your affair is with him. But I was just trying to establish whether, for my information, whether you're now as a policeman serving papers, which I believe is not correct.
Well,
It's not correct procedure for police to be serving papers.
Procedure. I'm not having a discussion with you. I've told you why I'm here.
I'm not talking about him now. I'm just talking about
Right,
the
okay, well,
procedures of the police.
I've got things
Are
to
the
do.
are the police? Yeah, we've all got things to do. Don't waste my time again, then. Thank you.
Your time. You waste your own time.
Just very briefly, with regards to the person that you're looking for, I don't know if I could be of any assistance in any way.
Okay.
Obviously, the police came the other day.
Yeah.
3 of you. You said you weren't going to arrest him. You just need to serve him some papers, obviously.
Yeah.
If I see the person, do you want me to give him some advice?
No, I'd like to just tell him that we need to speak to him, if that's all right.
You need to speak to him.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, regarding the paperwork, could you post them under his door?
No, because it's something that I need to give to him physically.
Physically?
Yeah.
Is that how it works with actual serving papers?
Yes.
All right, okay. Yeah. Can I just take your number for reference?
What number?
A telephone number if you want.
No.
Your shoulder number.
You can see it.
Is that 0596?
No, 6950.
Thank you.
Okay, see how you can move.
Have any of the group members been affected by Sefton Council visit?
Yes, a man was tracked down by the police completely out of the blue regarding a matter which hadn't surfaced for 3 or 4 years.
What happened?
Well, the police came in force and inquired as to whether or not this person was here. I took them to the room upstairs where he was an occupant, and as a result of that, they listened to the door and thought that they heard movement in there, believing that he was in there. What happened then was they asked me if I would give them a key to open the door. And I explained to them at length that I could not do that because it'd be an invasion of their privacy, and I could not open the door for them, otherwise I would be completely out of order. So they told me that if I did not offer to open the door or open the door for them, they would kick the door in. So I told them that I could not open the door for them. I would be completely in the wrong. Unfortunately for me, a neighbour was listening to what was being said when I told them that if they kick the door in, they will be responsible for the costs. They did not countermand that. They did not say that they would or wouldn't be responsible for the costs.
Did they pay up?
No, they didn't.
It looks like it's a motorised assisted bed.
That's what's making it heavy.
Yeah, so it assists sitting up. It looks like there's a remote. And it's got
Can I
one of
ask
those.
for your identity?
Yes.
Your number.
There you go. Call number is 2418.
Sounds.
Thank you.
And there's our
And,
contact telephone number.
Okay, thank you. And your identity?
Constable 6981.
Okay.
You've had everything explained to you while we're here.
No, that doesn't make any difference. I still want to know what your identity. You're on private property, so that's fine. That's
Who is
fine.
the company who run
Pardon?
this building? Who is the company who run this building?
I'm not here to answer your questions.
Right, okay.
What have you done about this?
Well, I've written to them, and to begin with, they suggested I should send in 2 invoices. And then they sent me a second letter stating that they would not be prepared to pay because I would not assist them by opening the door for them.
Well, on examining those letters that you're talking about, you're referring to, this one in particular from the police, they do highlight that they've sent it to the right department to deal with it, and they have led you to believe that then you need to send 2 invoices. And that would infer, would you agree or not, that you need to get the work done in order to create an invoice.
That's correct.
So obviously the police appear to be not knowing what they're doing here, because if they're not willing to pay, they shouldn't have said, send 2 invoices.
If by saying I had to provide 2 invoices, they didn't say provide 2 estimates, they said invoices. So if I get an invoice, it's after the work has been done. In fact, the work has been done because they rendered the room or the unit uninhabitable for a short period of time, which is a loss to both the resident and, of course, to me.
And what is important to understand here is they never arrested anybody in the property, in the room, because they used the idea that they could say, oh, I heard somebody, so we're going to break the door. That was a lie.
Yes, I believe it was a lie. They were insisting on obtaining access to that room. And when they entered that room, they then started searching it, lifting up the mattress and making comments about the situation. I didn't go into the room myself, but I could see what they were doing inside. When they entered the room, they were searching it and trying to get information about the resident.
Did any of the police officers apologise for breaking the door when there were no one in?
You must be joking.
You mentioned a second letter. Let's take a look. This letter from Merseyside Police, dated the 11th day of June 2025, briefly explains that they appear to be acting professionally by allegedly investigating Gordon's claim for compensation. They accepted damage was caused and did not bother to disclaim the worktop was or was not damaged. They now claim that compensation will not be paid in this matter. Well, Merseyside Police, maybe criminal damage or even breaking and entering could be a line of investigation when one of your officers claimed they entered the room based on them claiming they heard somebody inside when there was not. This could only be described as a blatant lie. The police have returned on 3 separate occasions since this happened.
I have on the 19th of June sent Chief Constable Serena Kennedy a notice of fault and opportunity to cure with a commercial invoice for damages and dishonour.
Have any other members been affected by the recent visit by police and Sefton Council?
Yes, there was completely out of the blue again. Marston's Recovery came to the property and left notices for him in the outside postbox, referring to a matter which he hadn't heard about for 3 or 4 years.
And it's fair to say that's an allegation of a matter 3 or 4 years ago.
It's an allegation, but it was very nondescript.
Do you think the bailiff will be back?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, yeah, just responding to a red letter, Marston Recovery notice.
Okay. Can I just take the postcode, please?
Oh, my memory's terrible. Let me just have a quick check.
All right, what's the name on the account? Right, okay, bear with me.
This seems very, very odd. It's like, where's this come from? You know,
Right.
out of the
Have
blue.
you got a reference number on the letter so I can get into this case?
M662. Is that Mrs. Maidment?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Because it's
Sorry,
got your number.
I didn't get the full reference then,
Okay.
sorry.
It's Mike 6962.
Okay, yeah, I missed a digit.
Who
Right,
gives
yeah,
information of this address?
Well, the court gave it to us when they issued the warrant back in May.
What, May this year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's very confusing because this warrant is like, where's it come from? What's it about? You know?
Obviously, are you family or friends of him?
I mean, I don't know whether I should be speaking to you, to be fair. I mean, this has just come out of the blue and with no knowledge of where it's come from.
I've been issued with a warrant
Yeah.
to attend that address, so we give him an option to deal with it before a removal team arrive to enforce on it. So it's been passed over now. It's not with me anymore. It's been passed over for a removal team to attend at the property.
Oh, did you come and post this letter? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, I got you. So because you couldn't speak, obviously, at the time, this is why you left the letter.
Yeah.
So when you come in to remove the stuff?
It'll be up to the van. I wouldn't get told that information. It's just spontaneous. So it can be 7 days a week from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m.
Oh, it's just that you'll struggle getting in because I don't know if you're aware, when you came last time, you weren't able to get through the gate, was you?
Right, when we come to the address to remove the goods, if no one's in or they refuse entry, they do use a locksmith because this is a criminal fine, so it's come through the
Is it?
magistrates.
Right.
So they can force entry.
Right. Okay. Wouldn't it be best to make an appointment rather than just turn up?
No, they don't do any appointments for these. It's always spontaneous. That's why we have the powers to enter.
I might have to give you a call back soon. Are you still available on this number?
Yeah, but there's nothing I can do for you anyway. You're probably best just waiting for the van to arrive when it does. Unless he's paying it, there's no point in ringing us because we can't alter anything.
Right. Because it is quite concerning because it's not his house.
Right, so we would need to be showing the receipts for the goods that are not his.
What goods?
So any goods that are not his. by law, have to be proven with receipts if somebody else has bought them. So that can be anything from electricals to sofas, tables, chairs, pictures, mirrors, ornaments, cabinets, anything like that.
I don't think there's any belongings you can take because there's nothing that can be taken on that basis. Because
Right, so you do get removed unless the owners can prove they've bought them and not him.
well, if it's a criminal thing and you can't remove anything, what are you going to do? Are you going to arrest?
I don't think you're listening. We are going to be removing things.
But if
unless the owners, so if we come in and we say, right, we're removing that television and that sofa and whatever else, and say you or somebody else turn around and said, well, that's not his, that's mine, you would have to show you bought, or they would have to prove that they bought the items and not the debtor. If the owners can't prove they've bought them with their original receipts, then the goods will be removed.
Because it's my understanding that there's nothing to take, and just on that basis, are you going to take him away?
So what are you telling me? The whole property's empty and there's not an item in that property?
Oh, no, it's not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think there's any belongings you can take. So are you going to take him away and lock him up?
No, I've just explained, we're going to remove things like electricals, sofas, tables, chairs, pictures, mirrors, ornaments, cabinets, side tables, anything like that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But like I said, there's nothing to take. So are you going to take him away if there's nothing to take?
No, we're going to remove goods from inside unless the property is completely bare and there's nothing there, or the owners have the receipts for each and every item. So if you've got your original purchase receipt for each and every item, then the items will be removed otherwise.
And that's for the amount that you stated on this letter?
There'll be more. When they turn up, it will go up by £110 for the van, a minimum of £114 for the locksmith, and then we've got storage costs and auctioneer's costs we have to take into consideration. But if he wants to stop it, he can, but to stop it, he needs to clear the balance he's got owed him.
But my concern is, if there's nothing to take, he's going to be taken away.
I'm not here to whether you're concerned with this or not. The fact is, when they arrive, they will remove the goods unless there's receipts to prove ownership. I'm not going to keep going on this because we've been over about 5 or 6 times. I'll leave it with you. Take care. Bye.
Can I just say to you before you go that he hasn't got any goods? Since the last video published, you have now just received an email from Sefton Council asking you to not make any more videos. What are your thoughts about that?
I think they've got a bloody cheek.
And will the viewers watching these videos have an opportunity to follow these real life stories unfolding in the near future?
Most certainly, yes.
So to the viewer, if you have not seen the way the council invaded the Phoenix, check out the video link in the description below. It's no soap opera and can only be described in a way as real as it gets. Now back to how people have been affected by the council's alleged lawful entry, deemed illegal by the lack of a name on the alleged warrant from the individual who created the warrant. And if you don't know what I mean, you'll see exactly what I mean when you watch the video on the link in the description. Did they knock on your door?
Yeah, they knocked on my door, yeah.
How many times?
I'd say they knocked twice because I don't think I heard it the first time because I was in the shower. I heard it the second time because I think that's when I was turning the water off, but yeah.
Obviously you came out the shower.
Mm-hmm.
You saw your front door.
Yeah.
Was it open by the time you came out the shower?
It wasn't opened, but it was just, for me, I just felt uncomfortable. I thought it was my friend knocking at the door. That's why I opened the door initially, because we was getting ready to go to work and I was going to let her in. And then I saw people standing outside of my door, which made me very uncomfortable. Very.
So you opened the door and you saw all these people.
Yeah.
Just describe, what people did you see?
They had badges. It was as if you could see it was blue badges. It said Sefton Council on it. And initially they had made it seem like as if that they had booked an appointment to view the room or the places that we have. And yeah, so I initially did agree, but I felt like I was kind of forced, if that makes sense. I kind of felt like, because I saw so many people, I was just thinking, I don't know if I should say yes or no, if that makes sense, because I'm just renting this property, so I don't know if they had initially booked an appointment and what they were doing necessarily, but yeah, so that's why I agree.
So you opened the door, you saw all these people,
yeah,
and you've described the council. What other kind of people did you see?
I saw someone who with a key as well. I think they were entering rooms as well initially, because my friend beforehand, I think because we was on the phone together whilst we was getting ready, she said there's people knocking on doors, she could hear it, like outside her door as well, but yeah. initially.
Did you see any police?
Yeah, I did see. I think it was one, but he was just behind. So there was 3 people in front of me when I opened the door, but the police were on the other side of the hall, if that makes sense, because they all couldn't fit in just to be seen through the door, if that makes sense.
Let me explain how some were abused. A man was on the toilet when the invaders knocked on his door twice, waiting only moments before using an unauthorized key to enter his room. At that time, when they entered, he was still partly undressed. They came in immediately, taking photographs within the private units, whilst he was still on the toilet, partly undressed.
Sorry if it's inconvenience anyway.
Oh, I will pass on the message again to him.
Can I leave maybe a contact
Advise
number?
him to contact the police.
Has he not been back since this morning now?
I haven't seen him today or yesterday.
Could
In
I
fact,
leave-
I asked his neighbour whether or not he had seen him, and he said he hadn't seen him for a couple of days. But I know he's got a girlfriend.
Could
so-
I leave you my contact details to give to him?
Yes.
Is that all right? Great, thank you very much.
Have you got a picture of him? Because I haven't lived here that long. I've never seen him.
Who are you, sir? Sorry.
I live here. So I don't know what he looks like. So could you describe him to me?
I've never met him.
Oh, I've never met him. Could you describe him to me?
I don't know him either.
So I could be him.
Well, no,
Well, are you?
No.
No comment? No.
So you're not then, are you?
No. I just wondered who it was, you see.
Well, I'm not. I don't need to tell you. With respect,
I don't
need
mean to
to
be.
tell you, do I?
Can I just say, I don't mean to be very awkward with you,
okay.
Not at
but
all.
when the police originally wished to contact him,
Yeah.
I allowed 4 police officers on the premises.
Okay.
Was that recently, sir? Was it or?
Yes, this was about a month ago,
Right.
and I let them in. And one of the police officers listened at the door, his door, because I said, well, this is his room. And I showed him to the door, and one of the police officers listened at his door and said, I think he's in there, right? And said, will I open the door? Now, I can't open the door to people's private accommodation without their permission.
Okay.
Right? It's their private property.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like me
Well,
walking
without
in
warrant.
on your property, would you?
No.
No. So I said, I'm sorry, I cannot open the door for you.
Right.
Right? I can go get a pass key, but I can't do it without his permission.
Yeah.
Right? They said, well, we're going to have to kick the door in. I said, well, if you kick the door in, then you must pay for it.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So they never disputed that. They didn't say, oh, well, we're not going to do that or whatever. They ended up kicking the door in. So I sent Serena Kennedy the bill for repairing the door because it was kicked right off its hinges and it was smashed into the room and it chipped the top,
Did they
chipped the
explain why
top
they
of the
kicked the door?
worktop.
Did they explain why they kicked the door in?
Yeah. Right. I explained it all in
No,
writing.
did
I
they
can give you copies of
Yeah,
it.
but
I'm saying, did the officers explain to you why they were kicking the
explain
door
to you
in?
why they were kicking the door in?
The officers would not show me the warrant. They had something on the phone.
Well, did they explain to you why
They said they wanted they wanted to see him.
But because they believed he was in the property, didn't they?
They listened at the door, but he was not in the room.
Okay.
Now, furthermore, when the police went into the room, they observed that he wasn't in the room. Okay?
Yeah.
He wasn't in the room. But then they started searching his room. And I stood at the door because I wouldn't go into his room without his permission.
Okay.
When I sent Serena Kennedy the bill, initially he said, well, get some invoices for putting it right. And then the same person said he would, the person who I wrote, who responded back to me, wrote to me, right, and saying, well, get 2 invoices. And then within a few days, the same person wrote to me and said, no, they're not going to pay for the door.
Right.
Now, that's dishonourable, isn't it?
Well, to be fair,
Right.
I don't know
don't
why
know
they were there.
No, well,
I don't know the initial job, so
So-
I can't say whether they're right, wrong, or whatever.
Speak on whether that was the right or wrong thing to do because
Pardon?
we can't speak on whether that was the right
No,
or wrong
no,
thing
no,
to do.
no.
If I'd
I'm
attended,
just telling the reason why
Right.
Yeah,
I
No, that's
appear
fine.
to be
Yeah,
stubborn.
from your perspective, yeah.
not stubborn at all.
Right. So, I'm very sorry for being awkward with you.
No, honestly, this
you know, there's cameras and everything, news at 10, whatever. It's a big thing out of a small matter. We just need to pass some paperwork, and that is it. So if you're happy to pass in my details, just get him in touch.
certainly am, yes.
I've tried phoning his mobile, but he's not answering. So just so I can say, listen, can we just come pass some paperwork? And that's it. It's not war and peace.
Well, he didn't answer
We're not building a
my
spaceship
phone
or anything.
either. I ended up having to leave him a message on his phone.
If you do see
manage
him,
to catch him,
would you be able just to get him to give us
I
the
will.
bell?
I'll pass that on
He can
for
text
you.
me or email me, and then we'll just arrange for him to give
So
us
I'm still
paperwork.
writing Serena Kennedy.
Right, okay.
And I'm expecting her to pay for the bloody door.
Right, well,
that's.
You have to take it up with the boss, unfortunately.
I'm not asking you what your opinion is. I'm just telling you what the situation is.
At the end of the day, complaints, right? Anyone's entitled to make a complaint. If you think we've done something that we shouldn't have done, you make a complaint through the channels and then it gets dealt with.
I want it paying for.
So, well,
and
I'm
until
sure it'll get sorted.
until such time as she pays for it, I'm going to be very difficult with the police.
Hopefully,
and they won't come on my private property.
Hopefully, you will get a response soon then.
Well, I shall be writing to her again.
I don't think you're difficult. If you could pass him that message, that would be great.
All right,
then he can
thank
get
you.
in touch. Is that all right?
Maybe you have a word with Serena Kennedy and get her to act honourably in respect to this matter.
If you've made your complaint, then that will go through the official channels.
At some point, someone will get.
Oh, it's certainly going to be escalated. I can assure you.
That's fine. So that's way beyond my pay grade, so I can't deal with the complaint. But obviously, if you've emailed my bosses and the chief, they will make sure it gets dealt with.
Well, I thank you for your patience with me.
No problem. And thanks very much for that.
And just very briefly, you are actually waiting to track him down, aren't you? So if you'd like to make appeal to him watching this, because I think he watches my videos, so just make appeal to him, because he might see this first.
But he's not wanted for murder or anything.
Well, make an appeal for him to come in.
Well, just needs to get.
Because he might not come back. And what I'm saying is,
I'm not going to. With respect,
if you make an appeal.
I know, with respect, sir, to yourself, I'm not going to stand there for 20 minutes talking about everything forever.
If you've had
you just
that
need to speak to
before
the gentleman,
anyway,
give him
you'll
some
know what it's
paperwork, and that is it. It's nothing major. If you could get in touch with us, that'd be great, and it saves us coming.
I totally get where you're coming from, but if he doesn't get the paperwork, no, if he doesn't get the paperwork and he sees the video, he might come in quicker.
Well, no.
But if he sees this video anyway,
I can't say any more on here than I'm saying on there. I need to.
All right, well, thank you very much. Anyway,
that's it.
What's your name and number?
Paul.
Number?
1440.
Thank you. I think I got you earlier, didn't you?
So,
Good, mate.
You know, it really is not a major thing. We just want him to get in touch with us just so we can give him some paperwork.
Okay. Well, finally then, could you give me some constructive criticism for the way I acted with you earlier?
I've got no constructive criticism, mate.
So I was okay?
You were within your rights to film.
Did I upset you in any way?
No.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you for your professionalism.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Did the police make you feel intimidated in any way?
I think in general, them being there, as well as Sefton Council there, it made me feel very intimidated, like I did something. I thought I was being arrested. I've not done anything ever in life. I'm a very well-behaved woman, very respectful. So when they opened the door with that many people, the police being there, made me feel very uncomfortable, yeah.
Had you been informed that they were coming?
No, not at all.
Would you say then that they could have done it a different way, perhaps?
100%. I think they could have booked an appointment with Gordon himself and let them know that they were arriving, because it would have made more sense. At least people would have had time to prepare and understood that at least, for example, 3 p.m, the council are coming to view the rooms, make sure your rooms are tidy, make sure this, that and the third, make sure you're dressed well, because anything could have happened.
If you'd have opened your door and you just saw one person there, perhaps 2 at the most, and no police, would you think that would have been more reasonable?
I still don't think it was reasonable. In my opinion, I don't think it's reasonable regardless. I think if we had like a heads up from them, they would have told Gordon and Gordon would have told us to prepare. For me, it's not about if there's 2 or 3 people. It's more so that they didn't give a heads up. Anyone could have been doing anything in their rooms, if that makes sense, but yeah.
What did they do when they came in your room?
They asked to view my room, and at the time they couldn't because I was getting changed. But as I left, I don't know if they entered my room. I think they did because they left a letter underneath my door. So that means they entered my property.
Are you aware that they took photographs?
No, I wasn't aware actually.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously they've been and gone in your room. You also got colleagues living here as well.
Yeah.
What happened to those?
So initially, I think my colleague, he wasn't in his room when it happened, and they had entered his room and broke his door handle. His door handle was fine. We usually go into his room to chill, watch movies, eat, and just laugh after work. And we saw his door handle. It's never been broken. It wasn't loose ever. We saw his door handle was literally falling apart, like as if someone's forced their way into his room. And with my friend, who's also a female as well, they had entered her room and left it on her kitchen. That means they've entered her property, because anytime Gordon has a letter for us, he slides it under our door out of privacy as well. And with them, that means they entered because they left it on her table, and for him, they left it on his kitchen table too. So they entered properties.
Well, it's quite understandable. Not everybody who lives here want to be on camera, but did you talk amongst yourselves after the event?
Yeah, we was quite shocked because we didn't really understand what was going on, really, to be fair, because we just thought they were doing like a normal check-in or something. I didn't really know how it worked, because for me, for years, I'd used like shared accommodation kind of places, so I didn't really know what was going on, if that makes sense. But
what did your friends and colleagues feel about this? Because it's happened to them as well, didn't it?
They were very upset because we sat and discussed it, because we were thinking we've just moved in, first of all, and they're sending us like a letter that says we have to leave in 56 days, I think. I can't remember if it was 56 days or weeks or something like that. And I'm just thinking, this is the stress that I went through to even find a place, and how Gordon even helped me, how reasonable he was when it comes to me even moving in. He said I could move in when I'm ready, if that makes sense. And it was very hard for me to find a place like that. And it had stressed all of us out to even find a place. And we were thinking that we wanted to maybe, because we didn't really know what was going on, because when it first happened, we was thinking maybe to find a place together, but we was thinking what they did was wrong. So it was best for us to fight against this, because why should we leave because they're sending us a letter? What they did was wrong, so why should we leave, if that makes sense?
Another young man who has psychological problems has complained to me about them coming into his room uninvited in the manner they did. He is now feeling insecure and threatened by what has happened. He is extremely upset by the incident, and this is what he wants to tell you.
It made me feel like a fucking Jew in World War II.
You reference the Jew in World War II. Are you referring to the Nazis?
Yeah, like they just intruded me, made me feel like I wasn't worth jack shit.
Did they ask you any questions?
Did they fuck? Just walked in, all the police, and just hold a fucking piece of paper up.
What was that piece of paper, do you know?
I haven't got a clue, didn't tell me.
And can I ask you, did they take photographs in your room?
Everything, yeah. Photographs. To be fair, it was swift what they did.
What were the photographs for? Did they tell you?
They took photographs of me, the bed, the kitchen, the bathroom, and they were pure blunt with real intent and just completely fucking in and out.
Did they ask your permission to photograph in your room?
Did they fuck? They asked me fuck all.
A man who works unsociable hours was in bed and did not want to be disturbed or to answer the knock on the door. The invaders opened the door and entered. He was very upset and challenged them. He is currently now off sick and has been traumatized by the incident and is requesting a bolt be placed on the inside of his door to ensure future privacy.
I'm going to say it was about 3 minutes, 3 minutes, in and out, took the piss out of me like the Nazis did out the Jews.
So when they left, how did that make you feel when they'd gone?
An absolute, like, I wasn't a human being. I didn't feel English. I didn't feel like I was in place. Gordon makes me feel like I'm in place. In England, in this place. They made me feel not in place. I felt like I didn't feel like a human being.
How long have you lived here?
December the 24th, Gordon let me stay here. I felt comfortable, like a human being.
Did you feel safe?
Felt very safe until them come through my fucking door, my door.
Now that they've gone, You don't feel safe, do you not?
Not anymore.
Going back to the incident when they opened your door, would you say they were friendly when they approached you?
They were friendly, but regardless of them being friendly, it was still intimidating for us, if that makes sense, because they can use this friendly act all they want. Bringing police officers to scare people doesn't sound so friendly, is it? If it was one person, then I would understand. It would be less intimidating, but regardless, they didn't book an appointment. They intimidated us by bringing lots of police officers. Like, it's not like the people in here were going to fight the police officers. Everyone here is very friendly, respectful. It seems like it's like a family here. No one will hurt anyone here. Even they wouldn't even hurt a police officer, let alone anyone here. So when they bought that, it seemed like they were trying to make it seem like, if you don't let us in a property, or else. That's the energy that it gave us, if that makes sense. It gave us very threatening vibes, if that makes sense.
This place has made me feel like I'm English and a good person. Nice. I feel like I just feel nice. They walked through my door, these people from Sefton Council, and just completely made me feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm wanted for some reason.
Do you feel like your rights have been abused?
My rights have been abused to left, right and centre by Sefton Council for what have they done. I feel like they're gonna, it's like it's like murder. I feel like I'm wanted by them.
A young man came home to find the handle on the inside of his entry door in disarray. He had the wisdom to take a photo of it and give it to me.
If you were to give any advice to Sefton Council, what advice would you give them?
Book an appointment. That would be the best advice, to be fair. And to not come onto a private property with police officers. It clearly states on Gordon's gate that if you trespass, you will be fined. So they should have maybe planned beforehand instead of just assuming that this is going to be an aggressive situation and we should bring police officers. If they want to protect themselves, fine. But I think they shouldn't have had to if they had just called Gordon, booked an appointment, viewed the properties, and that's it. That would have been as simple as that.
There was 24% of blood in my body. Should be 100. I shouldn't have been alive. And then I got sorted. I was sound. Them Sefton Council people come through my fucking door and everything went back to fucking normal. Drinking again. And now I'm getting ulcers in my stomach again. And blood is coming out of me, yeah. So I'm back to normal because of fucking Sefton fucking Council coming through my fucking door.
If you could give Sefton Council some advice now, what would you give them?
I could die over what you've done.
So if you could change the way Sefton Council behaved on that day, what advice would you give them?
Just knock on my door and say, hello. Not come through it.
Do you believe that you was taken advantage of?
I definitely think I was taken advantage of, because for them they saw it as if they're just being kind and so, but why are they bringing police officers? They could have checked all the rooms. They could have honestly just checked all of the rooms and asked Gordon, and Gordon would have showed him. Gordon is an amazing person. He's very understanding. If there was ever an issue, they could have came to speak to him, but I did feel very vulnerable in that moment, very vulnerable.
A mother and daughter returned from a funeral in Devon late in the evening to find a notice pinned on the outside of their entry door to their unit which stated, "The lock to this room has been changed during the execution of a warrant on the 14th of May 2025. If you are unable to access your room, you can collect keys for your new lock from Southport Town Hall, Lord Street." Of course, at that time, that would have been closed. You will be required to provide proof of identity, residential address, passport, driving licence, tenancy agreements before keys will be released. Please contact Sarah Price Collinson, Senior Housing Practitioner, Housing Standards Team, Sefton Council for more information. Well, maybe if she'd been contacted, they may explain why they can get hold of all their bloody documents inside their flat.
Didn't really know what to do. I was wrapped around in my towel, standing there thinking, they were like, can we see your property? And I'm just like, I'm in my towel. I don't want to show you my property. We don't even know. My place wasn't messy, but it wasn't like perfect tidy for someone to come in. Because you know when you have a guest, you tidy your room, you spray perfume and so. I didn't have time to do that. They just entered.
Another man was, at the time of the unauthorised entry to his room, was alerted by his phone, indicating intruders were in his room. He immediately returned and challenged the invaders and found that some of his personal items had been interfered with.
So you were stood there in your towel?
Yeah.
And they never offered to say, oh, I'll give you a few minutes, we'll go back out, we'll come back in 5 or 10 minutes.
They never offered. It was me that actually offered. I said, can you give me 5 minutes? Because it was just so random. I was actually running late for work. And like I said, initially I had opened the door because I thought it was my friend knocking, because she comes to, her room is basically upstairs. When she's done getting ready, she goes past my room and we go downstairs together and go to work together. So that's why I opened the door.
A lady who works on sociable hours informed me that at times, when off work during the day, she sometimes just relaxes on top of her bed and would probably have been intruded upon in a state of undress.
We spoke about it on the way to work, but then when we came back at 3 p.m, we went back up to her room to discuss it more, because we had to explain to the guy that where his door was broken, what had happened, or what they were doing, what the letter meant as well. And we was discussing. It was quite a depressing moment because I'd been through so much just to find a place.
So that letter made you feel depressed?
Very depressed.
The lasting impact upon some dwellers, not all, but some. It's caused distress and emotional shock, especially to many vulnerable occupants. It's created fear with such a large police presence. It's shattered trust in public authorities, without a doubt, reinforcing trauma for those previously harmed by bureaucracy. It's triggered anxiety and unrest, with some residents left visibly shaken afterwards. It's broke a sense of sanctuary. The Phoenix was designed to be a place of peace and private autonomy. It's disrupted daily life, with some unable to eat, rest or feel safe for days afterwards. Invalidated the integrity of the private agreements under which the residents live. It's undermined the trust-based model that has been built, turning a space of healing into one of caution. It's left the impression of being monitored or targeted, a psychological burden that lingers.
So how have you responded to all the effects this has had on them?
Lawfully, honourably. We've served notices, fee schedules. We've initiated commercial claims. We're not reacting, we're restoring balance. And anyone who lives here has the right to join in a collective claim, which many have. Some wish to pursue individual claims.
Just going back to that letter, you did actually briefly explain it.
Yeah.
How did it really make you feel inside after reading that letter?
Yeah, to be honest, it gave me a bit of anxiety, a lot of anxiety, because I'd gone through so much stress just to find a place, and how kind and honest and respectful Gordon was to help me find this place. Even moving my 20 bags of clothes, and how understanding Gordon was. It really stressed me out regardless, the letter. It stressed me out to the max, to the point where it's just like, here we go. Another thing to stress out about. And I honestly, I was going to cry, but I didn't cry because my friends were around me. But it made me very depressed, honestly. Like, I'd been through depression before and I wouldn't allow myself to get to that point. But when they send letters like that, especially with people who have come from different backgrounds, different vulnerabilities, it just causes you to go into panic mode. You don't even know where to start.
You've just hit the nail on the head for me. I do think that council don't understand, or I didn't even take into consideration, there are vulnerable people here. And the way they went and conducted themselves, from my opinion, I thought was very unprofessional.
Yeah, very unprofessional. Everyone has different backgrounds. Everyone may have different mental health issues. Like, we don't know what, even just entering someone's room without knowing, we don't know what's in their room, what they're keeping to themselves as privacy, if that makes sense. They don't want everyone else to see, and they're just taking pictures. We don't know what they're doing with those pictures. So that's even worse.
I've actually listened to some of the statements that some people have been saying, and some people have actually been saying that they got asked questions like, what's your name, what's your national insurance number? Did any of your friends get asked that, or yourself?
I was never asked that because I think they had seen me in my tower and thought, oh, yeah.
This isn't about fighting back then.
Exactly. Remedy, accountability, peace, and through truth. The next video, with the help of Mark, will go into the legalities, the fraud behind the council tax, the nature of trust and jurisdiction, what councils can't tell you, and why they hope you never find out. We've opened the door and we've walked through it together.
And the next video is currently in the making. Look out for the video titled Council Tax Fraud, the Hidden Theft of the Nation. Is this the end of the Phoenix, or just the beginning of the end for Sefton Council and those that collude and conspire with them?